All right, we're going to talk about getting into two different muscle groups with mobility balls, whether it's a lacrosse ball, baseball kind of ball, or a vibratory ball that we're going to be using today. Muscle groups that we're getting into are your scalenes and your upper trap muscles. Everybody knows about the upper trap. It gets really tight and achy, sometimes can lead into cervicogenic headaches and things like that, especially if you're sitting at a desk driving all day. Muscles get very tight, or taut, we should think about more so than tight, but another video for explaining that one. What we want to do is get this ball for the scalene muscles right on top of your collarbone, but in front of your traps, that little triangle sitting right there. We're going to get that ball right on top of these muscles and pin it in between a doorway or a corner of a wall that's shown over here. Either one of those works, and with your knees up, feet on the floor, what you can do is press yourself into that wall a little bit further, or a way to increase or decrease the pressure that's going through that ball. When you get into this position, what we want to start by doing is taking 5-10 big breaths through your belly. And if we're taking breaths through our belly, the pressure on this ball should not increase. If it does increase, that tells us that we're breathing through our chest instead of our belly, and that's not how we want to breathe. That's an aberrant breathing pattern, okay? After we go through a couple breaths here through our belly, what we can do is start looking away from that ball, and that's going to elongate and lengthen the tissue that we have smushed down underneath this ball, and that's going to pin and stretch those fibers just a little bit, okay? Getting into the upper trap, what we want to do, again, we can use the same ball, but what I want to choose to use is this trigger point vibe roller here. Awesome little tool. Press the button a couple times, it starts vibrating a little bit. What this does is allows us to get deeper and deeper into these layers just by stimulating mechanoreceptors that forces us to relax and increase our parasympathetic tone, not just of the local tissue, but globally as well. So this ball is vibrating right now. What I'm going to do is get that on top of my upper trap, pin it up against the wall the exact same way, and go through a couple ranges of motion here. So getting that ball here, pinning it up against that door frame, I can take my arm through a couple ranges of motion. That's going to feel all fine and dandy. Otherwise, looking down to the opposite shoulder is going to feel amazing too, and elongate that upper trap tissue. If I can lift my chin up and around, but sometimes that takes a little bit too much of the anterior structures here, and that might just be a little bit too much.